Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with Cousins. I'm Erica.
I'm Jay.
I'm KD.
Raina.
And we are here to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 8. They're having housewarmings. Before we get started, go ahead and like the episode. Trust me, you're going to like it. Share it on social media when you're done. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, okay? All right, let's get started. Let's start off with Rachel and Jose. What's going on with them this episode?
When Jose said he had everything planned out except for a wife, he wasn't lying.
Not at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
go ahead.
You go.
Well, I was just gonna say you're not lying. He has a Bible of everything that is gonna happen in his marriage and his life. Now that he fall in line.
Yes, and he's still on that joint account stuff. Like, come on.
Did you hear how he said? Yeah, you remember? I don't know who it was. I want to say maybe her family member that was saying, everybody has their way. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. And he was like, but yeah, you should have a joint account. At the end of it, I was like, dude, like you ain't hear nothing he said.
Yeah. So traditional. He's gonna learn. You have to throw that list away, or at least not throw it away. You have to be flexible with it. That's what I say. And then you come into an experiment like this, I feel that you should be open because your way clearly hasn't been working. Therefore, I think something different. And I think he should give a little bit more. And I think she's open to new things and to adjusting. I think she understands that's a weakness of hers. But if he continues to press her in this manner, I don't think she's gonna budge. I think it's gonna be a turn off.
Yeah. When they were at the
go ahead.
Go ahead. When they were at the plant shop place, whatever you call the plant, he was picking up everything, and whatever she suggested, he was like, no. No. And that's she exactly said, right. And she said, since she doesn't cook, I guess he can have his way. But that goes to show you that what her friend said about Rachel and the fact what she said about Rachel is true. She does
accommodate.
Yes.
Very passive. Yep, that's what I picked up as soon as I saw that scene. I was like, yep, there she goes, accommodating. But I mean, we knew that she hadn't totally turned from her ways because it takes time. And I didn't think that she was really ready for this experience based on her initial interview. However, bad habits are hard to break. So, I mean, if you're always accommodating in your relationships, it's going to be hard for her to break it. So we'll see how it goes. I hope that she continues to stand up for herself and stop those bad habits that did not work in her previous relationships, hopefully.
Yep. And the first thing I said was Jose is not a team player because when they were out there looking at herbs and stuff, it's like he already had a plan in his mind of what the meal was going to be, what the dinner, everything, the course, everything. So like you said, Katie, everything Rachel mentioned, he kind of just dismissed it. Like, nah. Well, how about we just do some salsa and some such and such? And I was like, see, and because she's so passive, it's going to keep happening and he's going to keep doing it. So she's got to nip it in the bud at some point. Now, what I also noticed was when they had the family and friends housewarming and they were all eating and, whatever. Once they started talking about finances and he was saying how she's more of a free spirit, he was kind of taking digs at her, saying how, she's, he's like, I remember when I was still single, living my single life, traveling and wasting money. Like, that's a dig. Like, that's so disrespectful. You don't
Sir, you
that.
were single 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Right. And you could 14 days to be exact. 14 days, 2 weeks, exactly.
Yep.
And he
looks at traveling as if it's wasting time. I mean, wasting money. I'm sorry. That's how he looks at traveling. Because it's not an investment. It's more of an experience. So you have nothing to show for it. So I think that's what the biggest thing is.
But I think that he needs to stop that because his wife has clearly made it, known that that is something that is very important to her. And it's nothing wrong with honoring something that your partner enjoys, even if it's one or two things. So I think the same way she would give on something that he's really passionate about, hence his finances. He should give a little bit and let's say, oh, we're not going to do, 3 trips, but I can promise you 1 trip a year. And I'm pretty sure. And then if they plan it, it won't be such a hardship financially. If we say, hey, every November, we're going to go on a trip. So that means January through November, you have time to set money aside so it won't impact you so much financially when it's time to go. So I just think that if you really care, but at the same time, I understand that it's not a traditional marriage. It's not like they have been dating and then they got married like the traditional way. They are strangers. So, but at the same time, they banging because y'all keep wanting to skip that part. Like they banging. And so I think that they married for real. Like once you give up the goods, we together. Like
and you're going to have to respect what I want. So get over the you don't want to go on trips because you got enough money, sir.
But you can tell that she was embarrassed by him bringing up his credit score, and he brought up the whiteboard.
I was supposed to say, didn't he bring it out?
Sitting there looking embarrassed.
I wouldn't be embarrassed by that motherfucker shirt that say my credit score. No, please ask me my credit score before I tell you.
but no, like he was
Christmas,
making it
pretty bow.
He was talking like the way he was saying and making his point, it was as if he was kind of like trying to gang up on her because his family was there. Like he wanted them to like agree with him and go along with what he was saying.
Stepmama was not agreeing with him.
No, he wasn't. It's just the way he was saying it. I felt like he thought they were gonna be like all on his side automatically.
Yeah, I think so too, but I don't know why he would feel that way. I think sometimes when you're around your family, you're more comfortable, and you're right. Like if you're trying to make a point, you might try to bring us up. See, everybody was saying the same thing to kind of make your partner agree. Yeah. But in the initial interviews with the family, if we go back, remember they were like, "Oh, he's very particular about his money," and he hasn't. So they made it the same things. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, it's okay to be financially responsible, but it's a little bit on the extreme side. And I think that his family verbalized that in the initial interviews from the beginning. So I don't know why he was trying to get them to help convince poor Rachel that she needs to get a whiteboard.
I am glad, like you said, Katie, I am glad that the stepmom kind of told her, don't let him, run all over you. Like you stop, you put your foot down. So I'm happy about that. I'm like, that's a good advice.
I didn't know who she was for whatever reason. I missed her title, sorry. But I was like, whoever that older lady was, she was like, I'm not buying it or whatever. And I just don't get why he likes to brag about that. Like he clearly played on the playground by himself because he does not take any social cues from anybody when it comes to what he's talking about. Yeah, like what in the world? Like, sir, it's not attractive. Like, stop. Or whatever. I don't know, but they still are all over each other, still in love. You saw him when he was with the boys, and he was like, it seems like he wants to be the expert on everything. Like, because when they started talking about like the relationships and how they were going, and he like just became, I felt like the pseudo expert. We'll talk about the other things that he was doing when we talk about Bao and Johnny, because he went to run for him, and that's all. I don't know what else to say about him.
No, you're right.
In control.
Yeah, he does. He really does. It's but like I think that's his personality, though. I think that's his personality. Like whether he's with the boys or in a relationship, he likes to be in control of, or makes it seem as if he knows what he's doing. Like he likes to be the expert.
He does.
Do we think they're gonna still make it though? Are we still voting that they're gonna make it, or are we like what?
I think they're gonna make it to the decision day. But they're not gonna make it in the long run.
I don't either.
That's what I say too. They keep showing this clip in the sneak peek talking where Rachel's saying, "I can't be your wife," and so. I don't know. I'm like, nah, I don't think they're going to make it. Because she's going to get fed up. She's going to be fed up. And I think her trying to put her foot down is going to bring he's not gonna have it. So he's too controlling.
So if he wants to be married that bad, he gotta give and take.
He does.
He doesn't understand that.
Budge on. He's not gonna budge on that though. He's just not. I don't see him. That's who he is. That's it. That's in the core of his personality, I think. And so it would really take a lot of effort to undo that with him. I think. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Most is. Well, I'm not gonna generalize all Hispanic men, but majority of them are like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. Anything else about Rachel and Jose?
We wish them the best.
Look, time will tell. I think we should make predictions again when they do the month anniversary, and then we can look back at what we said and then reevaluate whether or not we still think they're gonna make it. We can talk about it. All right, up next, R&B, Ryan and Brett. I think they're kind of like in a groove. They're kind of like doing the same things every episode. They seem to be meshing well together. I did like the conversation that he was having with his friend about how things are going so far. It kind of gave me some insight. We were right when we talked about that plane ride having to be high stress, because he was like, oh
yes,
plane ride.
He said that one was better.
Again.
That was better.
But yeah, she's really high stress. He seems to be, like go with the flow, but I can also see that he might end up getting frustrated with her. What do you guys think?
Agree. But like, honestly, this episode, it made me think that they will still make it, because I feel like they have good enough chemistry. I feel like so far they're actually going in the right direction. So, because they both said the same thing about one another to their friends, saying how they're attracted to one another and all of that. So I was like, okay, at least the attraction is there. They're still getting to know each other. I think Ryan is more concerned about like, okay, when we gonna smash, like basically what he's saying. Right. So he wants to get closer to her, right? But he also talked, while he was talking to his friend at the housewarming, he had mentioned how he talks a lot. Like they don't really run out of things to talk about. Like he keeps talking. He said that is not normal for him. So he, like I said before, she's really bringing his personality out. She's bringing him out of his shell. So that's a great thing. And I think that they will make it. Like as long as they keep going this way, they'll make it.
Well, and she's kind of being brought out of her shell too, because remember when she was talking with her friend at the housewarming, but before the housewarming, she was saying, well, it was something I wouldn't do on my own, but I did it because he wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And she was like, will you do it again? She was like, maybe. So she's trying to, she's trying new things too. So that's a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what we said about.
I was just saying their dogs get along too. I thought that was a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we said about the country thing. And should she try it and see if she likes it.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I feel Brett on when they go on vacation, she likes to chill. That's what I like to do. Like to chill and relax. Right. And my husband likes to do water sports, ATV riding, and horseback riding. And I like to chill.
No, me and my husband, that's one thing we have in common. That's why we like, what we gonna do with the baby? Because all of our trips have been baby free. And where do we do the ATV? That's where we go. Every island we go to, we do that. And then we do our water sports. We're going hiking. We're on a horse. We're doing the waterfall, whatever. I mean, the outdoor water parks and the slides, and we just out there about drunk. Like that's what we do. We get drunk. We go on excursions and we come back with babies. That's like, that's what we do. Okay. Well, we practice that. Coming back.
Look, I was about to say, well, you better not do that too many times, ma'am. They can compromise on that though. I mean, they can do a little chilling and they can do a little activity. Maybe he doesn't do as many as he normally would do. And she doesn't chill as much as she would normally do. But I think that's something that they can compromise on. And it seems like they're willing to do with
Yeah.
her.
Well, it just depends what chilling means, because so I can chill on a vacation, you know, especially you staying up the night before, you get up, you get your breakfast, you go chill on the beach, chill by the pool till you get your excursion. You know, so it's time for your excursion. So it depends on what you chilling. Now, if you want to be in the room, sleep, you know, some people like to go on vacations to sleep, and I don't get that. Like, just go home, sleep at home, or get you a hotel in the city or something like that. I don't understand going to a whole other country to sleep. So I barely sleep on vacations, but I think that it depends on what the chill is to decide. I mean, I don't know, or maybe they can have one.
Me and my
chill day.
husband had chill days and excursion days. Chill days and excursion
Okay.
days.
That's what they
That
can do.
work. Yeah, so if you did a 4-day, you have 2 and 2. That's a good compromise. But I couldn't chill all day. Well, what you mean by chill? Okay, I'm getting off topic.
Yeah.
I think it was a good mixture on the honeymoon though, because they were at the poolside with the other couples, which is chilling.
They
by
were
the
at the
poolside.
retirement home. They was at the retirement home. You can't do
There you
nothing
go.
but chill.
Right. But they did
According to Merla.
kayaking, which is the excursion. They did the
Yeah.
little deep sea, whatever that was, paddleboarding, that was excursion. But they also did the couples massage, which is chill, relax.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good mixture of both.
Yeah. They
And like I
did.
said, chill, it depends on what you like. If you chilling at the resort, then that's not necessarily chilling, because it's different things going on. So I guess, I mean, like I said, just it is something that is not, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, and it doesn't seem to be a deal breaker for them, and hopefully it's not.
No, and then their housewarming went well too. Like everybody seems to be getting along.
Yeah.
I mean, they work. Like I said, I told y'all, I feel like they're weird, but they work. So it's all that matters.
Weird and weird, and then have weird kids, you know.
I know we mention this every podcast, but Ryan's hair.
Oh my God.
No,
It was,
Brett's hair.
yes, I knew what
Beautiful
you meant.
still. And
Yeah.
then this time I think it was like straight, but had a little bit of a flip. I was
Yeah.
like, sis, the color is so vibrant. You get what I'm saying? Like it makes her face pop. And then she's a pale looking, her skin complexion is pale. So sometimes people pale, you know, I'm like, ooh, okay. But that pale against that vibrant color is really beautiful. Like, I'm like,
She rocks it. She really
she
rocks
did.
it.
Yeah, kudos to the stylist, because she
kudos, stylist. Like and subscribe.
All right. Anything else about R&B other than I think they're doing it? They are doing it right.
Yeah. I think they're gonna make it.
They're gonna make it.
All right. Well, let's move on to someone who might not make it because of their finances. Gil and Merlo. What is going on with them?
Listen.
I'm gonna wait. Y'all let somebody tag me in when it's time.
Okay. So Gil, okay, I'm gonna start off with Gil when he was talking to the guys. He's lying when he say not getting a kiss doesn't bother him. We know it does. It bothers him because he mentions it a lot. So
yeah, he wanna.
Well, I mean, look,
First
he
gotta
just
get a
needs some
kiss.
type of reassurance to know that she's in it, you know. And I don't blame him. It's just a kiss.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, to her, it means that much more. But it's just a kiss, girl. Just peck him on the lips once.
Right. And be
better.
done with it.
Yeah. And so,
but I get what he's saying though. He's saying he don't want it if it ain't sincere.
No, right. But
so I agree.
Okay, so this is the part where I actually really agreed with him. She has made it, what did I say? She has conditioned herself to move slow in relationships. So it's like she won't naturally let it happen because she's conditioned in her mind, like, I'm not gonna let it go that fast. I'm not gonna let it get there. Because she wants to be in control of every little moment of when it does happen. And I feel sorry for him because I'm like, you know what? That he makes a great point. She probably has conditioned herself to be that way. So I was like, that's a great point that he did bring up. Also, they did talk about the finances and they exchanged finance information with the checking and savings. And
who had the most savings? Who had the most savings?
Oh, Merla did, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, now let me say, when they had the housewarming, Merla's friend, she was being so messy. So right when he said, we exchanged our information and, you know, she had, of course, the most savings, that's when the friend was like, so are you okay with her still maintaining her lifestyle? Basically saying because she makes the bread, you really have no say in what she does, right?
Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't think that was being messy. I think she was saying, now that we've looked at evidence, we're not saying, oh my God, your closet is filled with this. The thing is, I don't think it's anything wrong with her buying those nice things. And she's still saving. So his thing was, oh, I'd rather do it on an investment. Well, it looks like she's doing both. It looks like she's, you know, spoiling herself, buying $600, $700 shoes and bags and lashes and whatever else, and she's still saving. There's nothing wrong with that. He just doesn't make enough bread to do both. So he has to use his extra money for investment. She can do all of it because she do. And I'm like, and she got more savings than him. I'm like,
that's fine. That, and I'm not just.
So I don't think she was being messy.
I do feel like the friend was being messy because she felt some type of way. But remember, Gil, he's sending money to Colombia for whatever reason. I don't know.
And that's what I was gonna say. What is he? Yeah, what is he sending the money to? I mean,
I think
it sounded like he was sending it and saving it there, not sending it to his mom. It didn't sound like he was like, I mean, I get it. Like, you're right. That's what typically happens. It just, he had it in offshore bank account. That's what it sounded like.
Maybe it is. Because
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Maybe they don't get taxed on it. I don't know. But for whatever reason, but he has savings. It may not be as substantial as hers, but he does have savings. So that's a start. And clearly, he said that they're in a different tax bracket. So he doesn't make as much. So clearly he can't save as much as she does. But so here's the part that got me. I don't expect her to change her lifestyle. She makes the money, great. You can support yourself, great. When she was talking to his friend at the housewarming, and she was like, she made the comment, I would never live in an apartment like his. I thought that was a low blow. I was I felt like that was a little below the belt. Like, you're talking about him as if he doesn't have any standards. You know, I just felt like that was like a negative. That was a
well. And even if it was true, she should have kept it to herself.
She should have kept it to herself. She shouldn't have said it like that. Yeah.
Well, men are. Trust me, I wouldn't have lived in the apartment my husband stayed in when I met him.
Listen, you see, I got quiet. Listen, I agree. You got, so for example, so I'm a hotel snob, right? So it's certain places, like if I pull up, I'm like, okay, no, like, I don't care if you get the deposit, you can have that. I'm not staying there. So it's like, it is a way. She could have been I mean, I don't think she was being straight up rude, because she could have like that shit, you know, but I just,
it's the way she's saying it, though.
It's the way she said it.
It's the way she said it. It's the way she said it, because even when they were all eating dinner, what did he say? He was like, it's not what you're saying, but it's like the principle of things. Like, you're coming into it saying, I'm not compromising, I'm not changing, I'm not blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I understand what he's saying. It's okay that you have these standards and you're not going to go below it, but it's like the fact that you have set your mind on saying, I'm not changing. Like, that's the part that gets me. Like, you have to still be willing to compromise. I'm not saying your standards, but going into it, if you have that, like, nobody's going to want to deal with you because you have this guard up. Like,
this is what I say. It depends on what we're talking about. So I can't remember what his apartment looked like, but if it's way off, you get what I'm saying? But if it's, you know, you might not have, you know, a fountain. I don't know. You don't have, that's little. But if it's not clean, or you got pests and stuff and shit and roaches and all that, I'm not staying there.
That's understandable.
I'm sorry.
That's understandable.
I'd be there to, So I wouldn't live that way if I'm used to living a certain way. I wouldn't. So I'm not saying like, okay, your apartment got granted, mine don't. That's different. That's nothing. I'm talking about literally, you got roaches and stuff, and dust like that, and then so it depends. Like I said, I can't remember how his apartment looked. But
I'm thinking it had to be
His
the
apartment was
outside
clean,
because
but
they're
it was
inside.
updated.
So I think that's immature. If it's not updated, that's different. But I've seen so you got mold and shit in the bathroom. I'm not standing there. I'm not showering there. The bottom of your tub is dirty. I'm not showering there unless I got some flip flops like college style. I'm just not doing it.
I feel like a lot of that has to do with like your personal cleanliness, though, not so much the apartment. So that, and then she was complaining about the dog slobbering. Like, the dog can't help it. The dog's not doing it.
But that's why I don't do big dogs, because they do. That drool is not. I mean, it just.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
My husband had a dog that drooled.
It's thick. It's it is.
I'm not a pit person, so no. I'm with Raina. I want, and I'm with y'all too. Like and Jay, I feel y'all. But my thing is, some things you think and some things you say. And that was one of the things that she could have thought and said a different way. She could have been like, honey, this neighbor, she could have said it some other way. I can't think of a good way right now, but she could have said it some other way. I just feel the way that she complains, because that's the only word I can use at the moment that makes sense. The way that she always complains is going to get old. And then, like, on top of that, she's like, I'm not changing my lifestyle. Like, this is my lifestyle. And I get it. But then where does he fit in? Because if it's about your lifestyle and everything that you want to do, and we're not considering what he wants, then why is he there? And you didn't even like you kissed him. So he's not even there to be your you won't even get a man a kiss. So then what is the purpose of being married if you get to define the standard, make the most money? It's like she's almost emasculating him, because she knows she makes the most money, and then he will have a larger say. And so where does his say come into play? So that's what I think she has to kind of take into consideration.
Right. That's a good point.
Like she has to take in consideration, like, I do make the most money. And apparently she actually, because, we were questioning, like, well, do you make money and spending money in debt, She said she doesn't carry a debt.
And her friend said she was good. The one that said she knows all her money. Yeah,
and I mean,
that's her brother.
I didn't realize that. I thought.
And when Gil looked at her savings, he perked up. So she must be saving, but she does have to realize that he has to fit into that life as well. And she just keeps saying, "It's my way. It's my way. It's my way." That's the princess in her.
Yeah, Miller didn't seem to mind when she looked at his savings account, and she said, "Oh, well, we can't touch your savings account if we're going to buy a house."
Mm-hmm. Right. Well,
she didn't seem to mind.
But I think she said that too, because isn't it like a rule, like the money has to be there, like it can't just get transferred or whatever. And then she was like, oh, so it's going to take us a while to be able to buy a house.
Yes.
I think she just has to be more cognizant of how she is expressing her concerns or her thoughts or whatever.
I thought she said that fine. I thought she was like, oh, it's gonna take us a while to buy a house.
Yeah, I thought
she said that fine.
This is what I say. If she's okay with being the breadwinner amongst the two of them, and she doesn't mind footing the bill for certain things, not to say he's not contributing, but because she is the breadwinner. If she doesn't mind taking on that role of head of household, I have no complaints. Because if the roles were flipped and he had something to say about her finances and how much she's making and how much she has in savings, we would all flip a gasket, because that ain't right. So as long as she's okay with taking the lead and not complaining about him not, pulling his weight, I'm fine with it.
Right. They'll have to have a balance of what's his and what's her weight.
And they have to be
be
clear on the expectations. Okay, this is what you're going to be responsible for. This is what, you know. And I also think that it's again, when you're independent, you're on your own, that type of stuff, it's really hard you want somebody else, but it's hard to open up and fit them into what you have created. That's the thing that takes a little bit more time. And then as for me, as you love the person more, you want to open up and make sure that they feel a part and included. But it does take some time. And I agree that, like, you know, like you said, Erica, like sometimes you can't say what you're thinking. Or for me, I always have to like say, okay, watch how you say that, because I'll just shoot it out like, yo, I'm not like, what the. But you really, really have to be, you know, careful and strategic and, you know, thoughtful with your words when you're expressing, especially like, because in situations, I was just like, I don't want to hurt the person's feelings. You know, people work hard for where they stay, regardless of where it is. So you do have to be there. But I mean, I can't lie and say that it's like, I just, you know, and I came from that background. It's just that now I'm not there. I'm just like, okay, that's not,
of course, absolutely. So, there's things that I've experienced in my past that I'm not going to experience in my future. You know, it's just, I feel like it's just the way that you say it or whatever. So I get it. Other thing that I wanted to say about them was their family and friends were like, oh, we don't expect you guys to have any problems. You guys are basically clones of each other, one man, one woman. And I thought that was interesting. But
yes. And I wrote down that her friend was lying. I don't know who her friend was. That man that's a friend.
Dion.
Yes, Dion was lying.
That'll spark my memory.
What did he say?
I don't remember. I just wrote down that he was lying.
He was saying,
what did he say?
I just remember he was like, holla at me, Playboy, and they went on the balcony. And Gil's question to Dion was, has she always moved slow in relationships? Has it taken time for her to get a kiss? And he was like, I mean, I don't know nothing about that. I've known her for like 8 to 10 years, and I never seen her PDA. I'm like, you're right. That is her cut buddy.
I thought the same thing, not the cut buddy part, but I thought the same thing that he was lying because you know how you listen, especially in certain cultures. That's what I'll say. In certain cultures, you know, ain't nobody snitching. So if you say you could have saw her like lay it out, bust it wide on somebody, I don't quite know. I don't quite remember. I can't say that I have.
Right.
And that's how he
about
it. He did not say no. I know. He was like, I can't really say that I don't really think I have like seen her.
And he was like, so
you never
was
seen her.
You thought he was gay?
Yeah, y'all talking about
like workout partners.
Him and her cup buddies. I
thought they were workout partners.
Well, what kind of workout?
They working out all right.
She don't like bald
what
men.
Kind of workout?
Like men with hair.
I worked out and I got a baby.
That's a cup buddy.
Oh goodness, yeah, I worked out. I had 4 babies, so I understand.
You just be working out. You be working out. You be doing Maryland's vacation back then.
Right. Anything else about Gil and Merla?
Yes. How y'all gonna skip the YouTube videos about him and how he just became I just want to put this out. He just became a firefighter. He was a trainee.
Right.
He just became a firefighter.
And that's why he does not make as much money as Miller.
But then they said he made $39,000 or something like that. They put that out there. I don't know where they got that information from. That was not our information. But in that YouTube, they said that YouTube video, they said he only made like 39. So I'm like, oh my God, I know she like what, but we don't know how much she makes. The way she's talking is like she makes a whole lot. We don't know. A whole lot is different from person to person. But
she makes
the other thing is that they showed his previous, like he was all into like workout videos and was a consultant with some kind of Spanish show. And I really was like, he was speaking that Spanish. I was like, okay, Gil, like, hey. So I was like, I just think that he was trying to come up with the working out thing. That didn't work out. Then he ended up being a firefighter. But when they first said he was on television, I thought he was on other love shows or reality shows. And then they definitely pulled me in because I thought that's what we were going to be looking at. But they did have a little tea on
y'all hear the way Gil was gossiping like a little girl
Oh,
to Marla.
yes, absolutely. He went and got all that tea and came back and told all that tea. Now, I wonder if they talked about Michaela and Zach having sex, because she said no to the ladies, but he said yes to the dudes. So
We not
And
there
you
yet.
notice that Mirla isn't. Am I saying her name right?
I don't
Mirla.
know.
Mirla didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
She was not giving up any tea.
Yeah, but he gave up all the tea.
Which is odd. It's usually the other way around.
Right.
The girl,
Right.
you go back and you be like, husband, don't say nothing, because the
Right.
husband, like my husband is, I could tell him he not repeating it. He go to court and lie, everybody. He not doing it. So I feel like with women, I'll talk. My husband ain't gonna go be like, let me tell you, like, like
Yeah,
shut that down.
those dudes better hold their tongue when they're around him, because he is gonna spill all the tea. And on the trip too.
I mean, every detail too. Just like at this, I was like, hold up, bro. Like,
Now, do you think that has anything to do with them wanting to like compare their relationship to the other couples?
yeah, but she didn't say anything. So if you're sitting there spilling all this tea and that other person's not, I'm gonna be like, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got no tea.
Right,
Like,
right.
what they say.
Because she said they really didn't talk about anything.
But
Right.
they did.
Right.
And then she came back and was like, if we did talk, it's 5 of us, so we would have been there all
Right,
night. or something
all day,
day.
all night.
Yeah.
But y'all absolutely had conversations just as deep as the fella. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Girl
they
code.
didn't show it. They didn't show a lot of them either. So I just thought it was interesting. I was like, oh Lord Jesus, he is telling everything that,
Yeah.
whatever. All right. Anything else about Gil and Marla?
I thought it was cute how they FaceTime his mother.
Oh
yeah.
and
Okay.
he looks just like her. Did you see? I was like,
that
oh,
was cute.
with a wig on, like they look like twins, but that was sweet. He called her bougie, which I was like, dang, dude, you call her bougie whenever you get a chance or whatever. But the mom, I thought, gave them great advice.
He did.
So I think that, I don't know, everybody seems to, think that they're gonna win and having them winning. So that's great.
That was a
Right.
good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move right along. Because the hurricane was here. Zach and Michaela. Look, where do we start?
Listen. So okay. First of all, Zach is fed up. That was clearly displayed and communicated in this episode, and he should be. I know that one of the things he kept saying is, I've already been here, and everybody knows this, whether you are a female or a male. When you have experienced certain behaviors in a relationship, you can identify them like boom, like there.
Right.
And then two things can happen. If it was a bad situation and you like, I'm done with that, I'll never experience that again, you're automatically turned off. Then some people are attracted to those negative or toxic traits, and so it turns them on. They're on the next level. They want to marry you because it's something that is familiar. It's something that's familiar. They're like, oh, you slapped me, hey, so I just feel like
it makes it sense why his longest relationship was only 9 months now.
Yeah,
like when he sees those red flags, he gets out.
But listen, I don't think nothing's wrong. Look look at the red flags. He's not saying some of the petty things that the other couples are saying. This girl, he went and took his animal to the daycare, was gone like 2-3 hours, I think was the time frame, and you thought he left the whole experiment and went like he was divorcing. Like, how did you go from that extreme to that? And then she really couldn't explain it. It was just, to me, I just felt like, yeah, I understand why he would be fed up, especially you're not in a long-term relationship. They just met. You got to think about it. Yeah, they're married, and that is like a serious commitment, this, that, and the other, but it's not the traditional way where you have been with that person for years now you're going to get married. So you guys have, some sense of loyalty to each other and working with each other on each other's weaknesses and differences. But he has no obligation to her. So I will probably run too, but it also depends on if she's willing to acknowledge it and work through it. But I don't know if she's there. I don't think she's there yet. And I really expected more from Michaela. And she was on that balcony with the friend doing that same little spiel. I just want to be, I'm like, you're lying. Like, stop it. You know, I just feel like, I don't think they're going to make it. I feel bad at this point for Zach, because I feel like he's mature enough and ready enough and open enough for a relationship. And he got paired with someone that's not necessarily mature and emotionally and mentally ready for a relationship.
Yep. I totally agree with you, Jay, because at the housewarming or after the housewarming, they finally got a chance to kind of talk about everything that happened leading up to that point. So apparently, after they met with Pastor Cal and they reconciled whatever issues they had, Michaela, he said after about an hour, she had texted him saying that she was canceling the housewarming. And he was like, but if we just reconcile, like, why is this the way you're acting? Like, why are you handling it this way? Apparently we didn't, because you feel some type of way. And if this is how you're going to handle it, you're not an adult. Like, I can't deal with this. And I totally agree with him. Like, she is immature. She is so childish.
But did you see the switch though? You see what happened? So they had the conversation, right? One, you think everything fine. You want to counsel it, right? But then when everybody comes, look how she was, oh my God. It's so over the top. Now, it's a difference between, I'm not putting my business out. We just finished arguing, but we're going to finish this when everybody leave, because we already had this housewarming plan. So you have, you play your little poker face. That's different than you going to, oh, hey, where is that? Give him a big, listen, that's what I forgot the word that he used, but her behavior is just like, she doesn't think about it. She just reacts.
And I'm so glad he called her out. I'm so glad he called her out, because when he did, he was like, well, how do you think I feel? How do you think I feel? And she was like, well, she did acknowledge her behavior. She did apologize, but he was like, right, but that's not good enough, because if this is your behavior going forward, I don't see you changing that. If this is how you behave on a regular, I don't see, you can apologize now, but your behavior going forward is not going to change. So that being said, I understand him, but I understand her plight, because it's like, okay, if I'm apologizing, what can I do to make this right? What can I do to get us back on track? He was like, I don't have an answer. So that is difficult to hear, because it's like, where do we go from here? He's wanting space from her when they're newlyweds. Space is only going to make them farther apart. They're not going to grow together. They're not going to learn to grow through the hardships that they have to overcome. So I feel like I'm not saying he's wrong. I feel like he has every right to feel how he feels. But at the same time, I feel like it's becoming tit for tat, because you behave this way. Now I'm going to be this way. And they're never going to get on the same page. They're always going to miss each other, because it's like, well, I'm pulling away because you did this, and I'm pulling away because you did that. So they're not going to make it. They're not.
How she canceled the housewarming party. I thought they were just petty. She was going tit for tat.
Yeah, immature. She's very immature. I wrote down, Zach said she's throwing up red flags like she's a blood, and he is not for it. She is confrontational. I feel like she goes for the jugular every single time. Overreacting. She really needs therapy. Like, ready for this.
And she thinks when she apologizes, that's it. Where he's supposed to forget everything that happened.
Right. But then she doesn't even change her attitude. Like when they were with Pastor Cal and they went through and they talked about it, like she was still sitting there making faces and being upset and all of that stuff. Like she's not even like, okay, we didn't talk through it, let me let it go. She's like, we didn't talk through it, but I'm still gonna sit here and mean mug you through the whole, through the rest of the conversation. Like she's just not ready for this. I don't know why.
She's really intense. She's really intense in everything that she does. I did not expect that from her. I really believed her. And, when she did her initial interviews, I'm like, look, she's established. He's going to be the issue when now it appears to be the opposite. Like I said, I don't think it's a lost cause. However, it's going to take work. It's going to take her to acknowledge it. It's going to take her to make efforts, because you have to change your behavior. That's the thing, And so I think that that might be. And he just has to be patient enough because, like, you know, I've done some things, but my husband had to be very, very patient with me. And then and my part of that was to change the behavior. So you replace those negative behaviors with the behavior that you want to see, and that's going to help you have a healthy marriage. And so it takes time to correct that. But, you know, I feel like if you have someone who loves you and is patient and they see the change in the behavior, not just the talk, then it works pretty well and you guys can get to a healthy spot. But she has to be willing to do the work because everything about her is really intense, aggressive, angry, all of that. And I'm not really sure
she's
where
grieving.
all
That's
that is
why.
coming from. Yeah, I
It's
don't know
grief.
where all that is. I don't think it's 100% grief though. I think, don't get it wrong, I think it definitely plays a part, but I don't think it's 100% that. But I don't know. She would have to sit in that and kind of see what is that.
Because her sisters labeled her Hurricane Michaela.
Yeah, so that's from childhood. You know, like that's how I feel.
She's the baby, so she probably got away with a lot.
You something. That didn't just happen. That's what I just think that's who she, and it might be because she's the youngest, you know, it just, you know, and I am the young. Okay. No mind.
She's the baby, so she probably did get away with
Stop telling on yourself now.
No, look, my husband's gonna be like, and first of all, she gonna be able to type it. Javila needs to take her on the
Okay. Oh goodness. But you know, another thing is she's a liar. She sat there with them girls and told them that they hadn't had sex, and Zach was like, well, you know, we didn't already
yeah.
the deal.
And that's what he said on right. Yeah.
Day 2. Yeah.
But he also talked, I think, is that what you're saying? Like when he said that, no, that wasn't her. I think that was Val. They were saying how she tried to present like perfect. Or was that her? Was that Michaela or Val when they were like,
that was Val.
Because I would say that's how Michaela acts, like that she has to present a certain way, which is why at the table with the parents, oh, I would never, and and then initial conversation with Zach, oh, if I leave, that is abuse, and then boom, screenshot.
She contradicts herself way too much, way too often, and like honestly, I don't blame Zach for how he feels at all. Like he has every right to feel how he feels.
Valid.
I'll say this: they are married, so I feel like he's treating it as if it was like one of the relationships he had in the past, which is, you know, the moment he sees a red flag, he runs. And so I'm like, as much as you have every reason and every right to feel that way, you are married. You gotta try to give her a chance, like
at least through the 8 weeks or whatever.
True, but what I think that we just have to be mindful of, we have to be mindful of that. This isn't a traditional marriage. They've been together 14 days. They have no previous history. You know, usually when you get married, you know, some people have fast-paced marriages, but you've been with that person a long time. You know them. You've gone through multiple things together that brought you guys together. You know, you worked through certain things. Not that you're perfect, but you worked through. They just met, so he has no loyalty to her, and already you call it stress. Yeah. I'm like, pass me my paperwork, because it like she's already causing him stress, and he seems to be like, I'm not about that, you know. I feel like that ain't even how his family roll, and she just a hothead running around here. So I'm just like, and then I'm like, you ain't even drunk enough, you ain't got nothing to blame it on, like that you know, you're not on no heavy drugs, like sis, what's going on? Like you slamming bottles and white Lysol wipes and shit. What is going on?
Okay, look, I want to put this point in there too. Another thing that I thought was interesting was when she was with the girls and like they were like, hey, how's it going? And she was like, well, I don't really want to speak about it because I'm going through it right now. And I was like, oh, you don't want them to know you
that you cut the fuck up.
Yeah. Now, did you see the part where her 2 friends were talking to Zach in a room and he was like, does she act like this all the time? Like, is this like her norm? And her white friend was like, well, no, you just gotta get to know her, and she's not like this. This is just new to her. And to me, the other friend was mighty quiet.
Like, the other friend was like, let her lie.
Look, I ain't gonna say nothing, but I thought it was interesting that same friend, when he was like, because I reached my breaking point, or I was fed up or whatever, the friend was looking like shocked and confused. I was like, girl, you know you ain't shocked. I don't know if that was shock and confusion or already? Like,
yeah.
Like I know, I didn't think it would be that fast. I don't know. She, yes.
But you know, again, like my views of Zach is changing because again, he came to her friends. To me, it seems sincere. Like, yo, like what can I do with this chick? Like, what can I do? She's tripping, you know. And yeah, he didn't use that word, but he was really coming for help. But they say, how can I make this work? Because this behavior I can't deal with it. Right. And I feel like it was from a sincere place. Like, I really want to try to make this work. Like he want to try to make it work. So I don't know. I felt bad for him. I felt like he was in there pleading for like, somebody help me, like give me some kind of strategy to try. And I really feel like if they said, well, if you say 1, 2, then say something, then 3, 4, and say something, I can see him in that next argument. 1, 2, now I need you to sit down. 3, 4, like, because I feel like he wants to fix the situation that bad, you know? Yeah. I'm like,
well, we did say that he was desperate. I won't say desperate. I don't think we use that word.
No, I don't think he's desperate. He a good looking guy, got a good resume.
That he was eager to be married because was eager to be was married or about to be married or in serious relationships. And I'm not gonna say he wasn't ready for this experiment because I think that he's showing that he could, like, he may have had some bumps in the road or whatever, but I think that he would have fared well had he been paired with somebody else, level-headed. But I think he went in for the wrong reasons. That I do believe.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel like, I'm not saying he's not ready. It's her, because this is the part. The moment where she said, well, she didn't know that it was gonna make him so upset about canceling the housewarming. I was like, you know what? For you, that's basic. That's common sense. Like, you don't know basic relationship rules. Like, she just don't get it.
She knew that it was gonna make him upset,
and that's why she did it.
That it was gonna make him upset because that's why she did it.
That's why she did it.
Exactly. She definitely is trying to push buttons.
She's the one who's not ready.
I know, but go ahead.
But to go back to your point, Erica, I do think he married and his motivation behind making it want to work, and I think that's where you were going, is he wants to meet that goal of married before 30. And that's so important to him that he's willing to work it out with her to meet that goal. Not necessarily, and not necessarily.
He might not be willing to work it out.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's what's motivating him to stay, other than saying, oh, F that, no, okay, I see y'all with the union type thing. He really wants to hit that deadline of 30 married. But I think that that's his motivation. I don't think that's gonna work at all. But I think
that will keep him going through at least the 8 weeks. But I mean, 8 weeks of what we've seen they haven't even been together 2 weeks. Like, they haven't been together 14 days because they weren't together at first. So they've been together probably like 3 days at this point, and she is like throwing up fireworks like it's the 4th of July.
What's so funny, y'all? What's so funny is that, first of all, they haven't been together 14 days, but they fucking. That's first thing. Second of all, she
not according to her.
But you gotta say, and on top of that, you carrying on. But then I'm like, well, did the sex not calm you down a little bit? Because that's the like, if you get it right, that calms you down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where you're a little bit more humble. But I don't understand why she's still a firework. At least that calm you down for at least 2 to 5 business days. And then you might cut up again.
Yeah, she got it. Was it the second night or on the honeymoon?
Yeah, the second night. She didn't have none ever since then.
Oh, that might be. I don't know. She might need another. What is that? I need a refill. Like that.
She's a little unstable. She wasn't ready for this process. That's the best I can say. She needs some time to bake a little bit longer. And she's the older one. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
Right. She's the youngest in her family.
Yeah. Anything else about those two?
We'll see them next week.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our last couple, Val and Johnny. I'm just gonna pause because I have a lot to say, and I don't want to say it all at one time. What did y'all think about their time on screen this week?
The breakdown that I don't know if like somebody crying normally, like, oh my God. But I was kind of concerned. I wasn't like, oh my God. I was like, is he good? Like, I was really concerned, his breakdown, because of what he was breaking down about. I didn't think it was that their arguments is that serious, but he also keeps implying like there's something going on when the camera goes off that we as an audience or other people we're not aware of that Bao is doing. So I don't know, but she was very posed and she was able to like express like what was going on, and I thought their housewarming was okay, but I don't know.
Johnny's issue is that he keeps comparing his himself to the other husband, and that's what's getting him caught up in his head a lot. Just relax.
That's one thing, yes, for sure.
And he is so used to those dating apps. Like every time, but it's a name Bao. Bao does something that he doesn't like, he freaks out.
Because he want to swipe whatever way is the wrong way.
I think it goes, Erica, I think it goes back to that. I think that the commitment is getting to him. Because remember, when you go on a date on Alpha, Tinder, or whatever app you might be using, there's no obligation. You never have to see that person again. You can ghost them. But he has done the ultimate commitment that you can do with a person, which is to marry them, which is why he was like, I married Bao. And I was like, it's almost like it hit him like, I'm married, like I can't get rid of. And I think that he feels stuck. And I also feel that he feels that it'll be a failure if it doesn't work. And that the commitment that he signed up for is overwhelming for him. That's what I think.
He's not trying.
I said his problem is that he romanticized what romance. He romanticized about romance. And so in his head, like she kept saying, he has this checklist of things that he wants in a wife, when married at first sight does not guarantee that. They match you up with someone they feel is compatible with you. That is definitely not like you're putting your future in someone else's hands. So by doing that, it's like you can't expect this person to be perfect. And for him, the moment he realized Bao's not perfect and doesn't check all his boxes, he's kind of like checking out and trying to back out of it. But knowing that's not, he's on national television and he can't just back out of it. Like it goes back to that whole swipe mentality. He can't just do that. He can't just, dismiss someone like that. He's married. So I just feel like he's very selfish. Very selfish.
I keep going back to, I just keep thinking about his past. And I think that I'm putting everybody in therapy. He needs therapy because I think that he's still dealing with the fact that his father left. He's exhibits that behavior. He's exhibited that in his dating life, that run mentality. And I think that just because she's not perfect, or I'm not even going to say not perfect, she's human. Like she's just being a human. Like whatever the case may be. And it's like, he cannot deal. Like if she doesn't wipe her nose a certain way, if she's not taking a bath, whatever the case,
that part.
Bed late, it's a problem. And he's like freaking out, going crazy, hyperventilating over every little thing. And so like when he was sitting there with the dudes, I felt bad that he was breaking down, but I was like, dude, you doing this to yourself. Like, who else is sitting here like going crazy over something simple and something they can't?
Because he was comparing himself.
Yeah, like I'm like, sir, stop. Like you.
And what got me is that he said he was not physically attracted to Bao, and I was like, hold on,
right?
Was she the one talking about her butt, ass?
He said he was physically. That's his body type. So he's physically attracted to her. But I think it's the emotional connection that
personal,
like their personality type thing. Yeah.
He is doing too much. Like
the audacity the audacity when Jose asked him, "Are you attracted to your wife?" He said, took a minute, paused, and then said, "Somewhat." I'm like, he needs to take a good look in the mirror and work on himself, because he's over here looking like judging Val, like, well, you not this, you not that, you not this. Johnny, it's a lot wrong with you, buddy. A lot.
Sir, you have 7 of the same shirt. Like, stop it. Like, you cannot throw rocks at somebody's house if your house is glass. I think that he's doing too much. And then for Bao, I actually think that she's handling the situation quite calm. That's the way they're editing her, because he repeatedly is rejecting her in some way, shape, or form. And he's like, "Oh, you don't meet all my checklists, and oh, you're you act goofy like a child, and it's a turn off." Like, every episode, there's something else that he's adding on to his list of things that she doesn't meet. And she's like, "I'm just chilling." Like, he wants to go home. I let him go home. I'm not on his checklist. Okay. Like, I feel like she's going, like, she's trying to go with the flow. But I'm pretty sure she's questioning, like, what in the world? Why didn't I walk away when I saw it was somebody I already knew? Like, I think
she's more emotional, much more emotionally mature.
Yeah,
for sure. Because she even recognized, because she said that, she was like, "I don't think he takes things as seriously." She said she's 100% in. She thinks that Johnny's 90. I think it's less.
I thought it was less
that
too.
He's 90% in. And even when when he gave her a peck on the like a kiss in the morning, she was like, "Oh, he's trying, y'all." And I was like, she's very calm. Her demeanor is very calm, and she's very patient with him, because I would have been like, "You know what? You say something else to me.
Right. You got one more time."
One more time. And I'm walking out the door, because like I said, he's like the one, he's basically Mirla complaining, but not so much about everything else. He's complaining about his wife.
Yep. Sure enough.
And that's exactly what he's doing. He's complaining not so much about everything around him, but about her specifically. And I'm like, dude, you have no room to complain. Like, look at you. Yeah. Yes, I agree. She needs to be bathing and washing herself.
She does.
Other than that, like, what else? You can't get mad at how she gets giddy and happy, you know what? And so joy.
I really think the complaining is coming from what you just said. He's not committed as much as she is. That's what it is. She's ready. She's all in, and he's sitting at 50%. I think, not 90. But I also think she said that in front of everybody to kind of save face. But I think that she is right on her assessment that he's not all in. But I think that's where all that complaining is coming from, because he's not all in. He's looking for issues and picking out issues, but no solutions. And so when you're really all in, you still might pick out an issue, but you're gonna follow it up with a solution. So.
Yeah, so confused with him though, because at the housewarming, her friend had gifted them a book about pleasing women or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, "I hope that means, like, we're gonna get to," and I'm like, so I'm confused, because he seems like he's not emotionally in it, but he wants to smash.
That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, when you dating on Tinder, that's kind of what that is. Sometimes. Yep. But I also thought that was a weird gift. I'm like, why would your friend bring that to a housewarming? Like, maybe Bao had. See, I would have took it. Like, if I was Johnny, I would have been like, "Oh, what you tell her?" Like, "Oh, you was scared I might not be able to do it."
Yeah.
Right? Or
that's how I took it.
That's what I was like, what's she telling her friend? If it was his friend, that's different.
It would have been different if oh God, what was I about to say? If she
had done it
on the wedding night, because then it could have been like, this is something for you guys to get your relationship going. But once they had kind of gone on the honeymoon or whatever the case may be, and they had started to get to know each other, it was kind of weird. But yeah. I don't know why he
if they say they haven't yet, so had they done that already and then he got the book, I would have felt some type of way, like, you talking about me behind closed doors.
That's true,
like,
too.
That's what y'all gossiping about. But because they haven't yet, I thought it was okay. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't have taken it personally. But I did say Johnny's looking at it like it's a relationship and not a marriage. He's not treating this as a marriage at all.
Yeah.
And was that her friend or Johnny's friend that gave them the book?
I think it was her friend.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was her friend. I think you guys hit all my points that I was talking about, that I wanted to talk about. I just hope that he can get out of his head and actually try, like, because I feel like every episode he has to spiral out of control, and then he either takes a break or whatever the case may be, and then he calms down. Like, I feel like he does that every episode, like spiral up and then he has to spiral down.
He's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, he's kind of giving me Michaela vibes, if you want.
No, I really think that mug is freaking out about the commitment he signed up for. Like, he wanted it, but like, I mean, I remember waking up a few nights after, I said, I'm married. Oh crap, I'm married. Oh crap, I'm married. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe he's just like, oh, what did I sign up for? Oh my God, what did I sign up for? And maybe he'll warm up to it, but it's hard once it's something new, and such a major commitment and obligation. So I think he's just freaking out. I mean, shoot, I did that with my baby. I was like, oh my God, I got a baby for 18 years. I freaked out.
He definitely is
for a lifetime,
freaking out.
girl.
True,
he definitely is freaking out, but it's like, for you to be so particular about things, this ain't a show for you to sign up on.
No.
Like, it's really not. It's not for you. It's not for you. You too picky.
But I think he was trying to try something different because nothing he was doing was working.
No,
that's just gonna ruin someone else's life.
Right. He should have dated somebody from work versus getting on Tinder versus getting married to a stranger that he didn't. He jumped all the way in the deep end and didn't know how to swim. But it was too much. He shouldn't have done it if he couldn't at least be comfortable with trying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else about them?
Mm-mm.
All right. Let's talk about these predictions for the next show. Did you guys get to see them this week?
I did. I'm trying to remember.
I seen the one where Brett and Ryan was talking. Ryan is on a dating app, and I think it was he forgot to delete it.
Yeah, I think old account. I think they're about to do an edit move on us. I think it's an old account.
I do too.
Yes, but I feel like shouldn't the experts vet those things and make sure that they get rid of those things before they get on the show?
Oh, that's your personal
on dating apps. That's the way they find them.
Yeah. Well, one thing though, I'm not putting any trust in the expert of finding anything, because last season they didn't find anything on one person. That Chris had a doggone billboard of stuff to fill up with him. So I don't trust the experts on that. I did see on the previews that Val and Johnny did it though. Like they do.
Well, it sounded like they did.
Yeah. What? The editors better not be playing with me. They better have smashed. I'm gonna cut the whole TV off. I'm done.
She seemed happy.
Yeah. Oh, and then what was up with did you guys see the cut where Rachel was like talking about what happened or something like that, and she was like, well, what happened was, or something to that effect. I don't know.
I got drunk and such happened.
Yeah. That's what she said. I was like, what happened? So I don't know. Look,
I think that she went out with her girls and got drunk, and then she slept at their house.
Oh, you think that's what happened?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
No.
No, I think she got drunk and flipped out.
You think on him or on just on camera?
Probably both.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think that Jose is going to be embarrassed, and I think that's where this is going to go.
Oh, do you think that's going to be the episode where she says, well, I can't be your wife? Like that'll be like they played it out of sequence?
It could be. I don't know. I just think she flipped out on the show in general. Like, we're going to see a side of her that we're not used to. And then I think we're also going to see when you come home drunk and how that affects your husband.
Well, if he can't control it, I mean, Well, I didn't see any other previews, but those were the two that kind of stuck out to me. We'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. Until next time, you guys, we'll see what happens on Married at First Sight, Houston, season 13. And I don't even think anything special is going on next time. They just live in life. They didn't give a theme or anything like that. We'll wait and see. All right. Until next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.